Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back for a new video. This time it's the Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition. And I didn't start with Nero and Dante's campaign because everybody knows that campaign pretty well by now. So I started with Lady and Trish, and I've played a little bit already just to kind of get a feel for it. I played a little bit of their campaign, I played a little bit of Virgil's,
So
but
just how
here's
much
the
do you
opening
know about
cutscene.
Sparta?
And it's kind of a rehash of the
The
middle
story
cutscene from the
goes
game, but
that
they add a
Sparta
little bit
served as
to
the
it, so
feudal lord of
check
a
this
city
out.
long ago. The people who live there today take these legends as truth and worship them, just like a god.
They worship a demon as a god?
Peaceful worship can't be condemned. But the real problem is the Order. Lately, they've been running amok, catching demons, and have even butted in on some of my jobs.
Maybe they're starting a zoo.
Not just demons. They've also been targeting devil arms, like the ones you have.
Okay then, a museum. So what?
Well, what if their intentions are foul, and there's a diabolical plan behind these apparently random acts?
Well then, I'd have something to keep me occupied, and... Trish!
Now this is where the cutscene would end in the old game.
Try not to keep us waiting, Dante.
Yeah.
First thing that really stood out to me is they didn't bring back Carrie Walgreen, the voice lady, which I'm not sure why. But Kate Higgins' voice is very stark contrast to the voice Carrie Walgreen used and the voice that Melissa Davis used in the anime. Melissa Davis kind of sounded a little bit like Carrie Walgreen, so it wasn't too drastic a change, but that's going to take some getting used to. She's not bad, it's just jarringly different. So here they show off some of the tools that will be at our disposal when we get to, well, Lady and Trish's campaign is broken up the same way that Dante and Nero's campaign was broken up. You play as Lady through the first, like 11 or 12 chapters, and then you'll take over as Trish, and then switch back to Lady for the last 2 or 3. Can't remember the exact breakdown. It's been a while. This is I kind of went through it a couple times just to kind of...
This is gonna get ugly.
I went through the first part of the campaign a couple times just to kind of get a feel for it and get back into it a little bit. Especially with Lady, she plays very differently than what most people are probably used to with the Devil May Cry game, and I was doing pretty bad. I do a little bit better this time, but she's more reliant on guns, and her melee is very limited. She has like 1 or 2 combos with her Kalina and rocket launcher, and it's just real slow and heavy, so you're kind of opening yourself up if you use it. So I kind of have to like readjust my thought process playing the game, because I used to rely primarily on melee because, let's be honest, guns were never really that good in Devil May Cry games. So I'm kind of like reprogramming my brain a little bit here to kind of get used to it. And I know I could just like take out Dante real quick, but breaking the benches to get a few more red orbs never hurts. And the grappling hook doesn't seem to work on him. It functions in pretty much the same way that Nero's Devil Arm did, or Devil Bringer. And right away too, you can notice, and even playing, I've played Devil May Cry 4 on the Xbox 360. I played a little bit on the PlayStation 3, and I played on the PC. And even going from the original Devil May Cry 4 PC release to the special edition PC release, you can see that they put some work up in the textures and things like that. You can see like the patterns a little bit better on Lady's coat in the cutscene there, and it's like more of a I guess we'll just go with texture to it. It doesn't look flat in Dante's coat, and the vest underneath, you can see a little bit more of like a leathery texture to it. So they definitely put some work into it, which it was good to see. And the campaign isn't how I kind of was hoping. Like, I was kind of hoping maybe they'd surprise us and put in like a separate campaign for the extra characters, but from the reviews I read, it looks like basically it's kind of like Devil May Cry 3 when you played as Virgil. You get the same campaign, you just get slightly... In this, you don't even get different cutscenes throughout the campaign. You get a different beginning and a different ending, but I think everybody except Virgil shares the same ending. But this is kind of like, if they ever do move forward with the Devil May Cry 5, this is how I'd like to see it done, because I like these characters, and a lot of other people like these characters, and they kind of... Like, Kat wasn't bad in the Devil May Cry reboot, but she didn't have, like, the... I don't know, she just didn't resonate the way Lady and Trish did. And especially, Lady kind of came in pretty strong in Devil May Cry 3, and she had a pretty prominent role in that game, and then she was just, like, relegated to a couple cutscenes in this one. But with Devil May Cry 5, ultimately what I think would be awesome, and I've discussed this before, is I'd like to see if they're going to do multiple protagonists, have them have separate campaigns, so that way, and like have them kind of like interlock, kind of like, and I hate to use this as an example, but kind of like Resident Evil 6, you know, maybe not to that extreme, but I don't want to do... I think, and that's what a lot of people's problems with Devil May Cry 4 originally was, is they didn't like Nero, but then by the time you got used to him, then they gave you Dante back, and then you played as Dante, and you're like, hey! And then they're like, oh, we're taking Dante away from you and giving you Nero back. Give them, like, 10 chapters each, you know, or something like that, and have them separated from each other, so you can play those 10 chapters self-contained. I mean, ultimately, I don't know what Capcom's going to do, but... And I hate to sound like I'm making a conspiracy theory or anything like this, and this is just conjecture and opinion, but I wouldn't be surprised if we find out that... Here's, from a business perspective, the way I'm looking at it, is this recent remastering of Capcom games. I feel like it's a way of gauging public interest, like with the Resident Evil remaster of the original, of the HD, or the HD remaster of the Resident Evil remake. Since that sold gangbusters, you know, and now they announced that Resident Evil Zero is getting a similar treatment. I wouldn't be surprised if hit the wrong button there. Wouldn't be surprised if that's a way of seeing if like that survival horror aspect of Resident Evil was popular, and then that's what they move forward with Resident Evil 7. You know, I kind of wouldn't be surprised if they did, if that's kind of what's going on with Devil May Cry, because they put out the remaster of DMC, which in all honesty, I didn't think was a bad game. I don't feel the need to buy it over again though, because some of the stuff they added, while isn't terrible, some of that stuff should have been in the original game, like the locking on and things like that, because I don't remember there being locking on in the original, in DMC. I can't remember. I only played through it once. Excuse me. But I feel like the value out of the two of them definitely came with 4, because you got 3 extra playable characters, and there's some subtle balance changes that people probably aren't going to notice unless they're like hardcore Devil May Cry players. And I mean, I'm talking like frame counters and stuff like that. You're those type of guys. The average Devil May Cry player like myself probably aren't going to notice the balance changes. But at any rate, it wouldn't surprise me if they put these two remasters out to see which one sold better, to gauge public interest in which way they should go with the series. Should they make DMC 2 or should they make Devil May Cry 5, you know? So I'm really hoping we get Devil May Cry 5. I'm not totally opposed to a continuation of the story in the reboot, but I think they had mentioned in the past before about possibly like going forward with both series, but I think all that would do is confuse the average gamer. Like, you know, DMC 2 comes out in, let's say, 2016, then DMC or Devil May Cry 5 comes out in 2017. People are gonna be like, what the fuck? And where's 3 and 4? So I don't know. Like I said, out of the two, I'd rather see Devil May Cry 5 with a more fleshed out story. I know that's why, you know, nobody plays Devil May Cry for the story, but it's still interesting. Hell, you could even take the story from the anime and make it into a game. I mean, it's basically laid out like a fucking game. You have your couple minion battles, and then there's a few boss battles, and ultimately there's like the major boss battle, and you find out that, you know, I probably shouldn't continue on with that spoiler territory, but if you're a Devil May Cry fan and you didn't watch the anime, it's worth checking out. It's pretty good. I will say I was sort of disappointed with Ruben Langdon. He kind of felt like he phoned it in a couple times here and there, like he tried too hard to make Dante sound bored and disinterested. And all my grenades went off the cliff. That kind of sucked. But I mean, they're gonna have to do something because they're getting people. They're giving you that taste again, you know. And I forgot this. There's a red orb back here. They're, you know, you're getting that. It's like having a steak just out of reach, but you can smell it. You know, they're giving people that taste again, and people are going to start asking for a new entry in the series. I mean, arguably, remastering Devil May Cry 4 has mixed results, but I mean, yes, there was fans that were very disappointed with the game, but you can't lie, or you can't argue with sales numbers, and it was the highest selling game in the series. I don't know if DMC outsold it or not, but of the original numbered entries, it did sell the best out of the original 3. But granted, the original 3 were PlayStation 2 exclusives, but ironically, that was also the most popular console when those games came out, so I don't know. Capcom doesn't exactly have, like, they're not known for making the best marketing decisions, so we'll see. But I would like to see them kind of. I wouldn't be upset if Nero didn't come back, but if he does come back, I think they should try to, like, at least explain a little bit more about his past. Where'd the Devil Bringer come from? Where'd he come from? Then again, I don't know if they addressed that with Virgil's campaign in the beginning and the ending cutscenes. Well, they might do something with the ending cutscene. They do kind of mention that in the cutscene that starts Virgil's campaign that it takes place decades prior to Devil May Cry 4. So he's in Fortuna for whatever reason before everything goes down with the Savior and Dante gets there, and you know, so I'm going to assume it takes place before his story takes place before Devil May Cry 3, but again, it's the same campaign. There is something satisfying about shooting these guys with missiles. Once I think her abilities are expensive though. But I think once you get her completely unlocked, and I just did that out of habit because during the tutorial, like when you have the tutorials turned on, that's where they bring up the taunting thing, and I tried it, and I've played this part a couple times already, so I did the little taunt there just kind of out of habit. I don't know how many she has. So far, every time I use it, she just bends down and ties her boot, but... she's definitely more fun after I got a few of her moves unlocked. When I first started the campaign, I was unimpressed. I got my ass handed to me by Burial a couple times because I just really didn't have any way to, like, seriously outdamage him. And I'm not playing on Legendary Dark Knight mode, I'm playing on Devil Hunter, just till I get a feel for it. But, especially since, you know, I've been playing Skyrim and stuff like that, I haven't really played, like, an action game like this in a while. So I didn't want to abuse myself too much right off the bat. But she, now that I got a few of her moves unlocked, she's definitely fun, but it is a lot harder getting the higher combo rankings with her than it is with the other characters. Like Virgil, I got a couple S-rank combos like right off the bat with him. And Virgil's pretty cool. He's got Yamato, obviously, and then he's got the Force Edge, and he's got Beowulf, but he's fast as fuck. And he has an interesting mechanic that they kind of threw in with him that adds a little bit of a dynamic to him, and I'll get into that when I make a Virgil video. First time you come through here, you get a blue orb fragment when you destroy that statue. And again, I think the reason they made Lady's moveset so expensive is because all the characters draw from the same Proud Soul and Red Orb pool and item pool. So if you play through the game with Dante and Nero and get all these Proud Souls from playing through it, then you could basically make the other characters a powerhouse right off the bat. So I think that's kind of why they made her moves so expensive. And some of Virgil's moves are pretty expensive too. So I think mainly for balancing issues. This might not be the flashiest way to defeat him, but it was the most effective that I've found. He does tag me here when he gets back up. That time I got far enough away. Sometimes I don't get far enough away from him when he does that. Like that time. Oh. Earlier I had a hard time dodging that. And I don't know if it was just because I used to defeat him faster with Nero and Dante, but I don't remember him ever doing that. But I mean, I never really stayed at this range playing as Nero or Dante either. So that's probably the biggest adjustment so far, is keeping away from him and just kind of unloading into him. I held that out there a little too long, couldn't dodge his hit. I hate this. Like an idiot, I didn't invest any Proud Souls into her speed when I first got some, and I couldn't outrun those, and it was kind of a pain in the ass. Now that's her. She don't have a Devil Trigger, obviously, because she's human, so instead of Devil Trigger, she just like lays down a fuck ton of grenades, and they explode. And it's pretty effective. They did do a pretty good job of making the new characters, well, the two that I've used so far, feel different enough from Dante and Nero that it's not like exactly the same. I mean, obviously Virgil has some similarities with his movesets and his weapon choices, but I mean, all in all, for 25 bucks, if you're a Devil May Cry fan, I don't think you can really go wrong with this. But we're going to wrap this video up here, and then we'll continue on in the next one. I don't know if I'm going to inject any Virgil videos in or not, or if I'm just going to stick with this until I finish it, but we'll see. But like always, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Alright, have a good one.